I attempt to conquer the frozen wastelands of Frostpunk 2. With the captain dead, I step in as steward with a firm, steely grip. I will rebuild the city, crush any rebellion, and leave my name in history. Let's begin. And we land once more upon the world of Frostpunk 2. Our little city has all grown up. Look at it, filling the original crater and spilling out over the edges. This is just a central district now, housing the old generator tower. We will grow it and expand it across the new wasteland that we can inhabit with bigger and more powerful districts. Our first steps are sending out the Frostbreaker teams to clear land from snowdrifts. The dark grey is already broken land, white is where the teams can start, and the checkered pattern where they can break. We go towards the coal markers in the east. With the generator off, we need fuel to get it online and stop people complaining. The blue lined area I'm digging from gives bonuses, mostly. This one and the one on the other side give a heat bonus to any territories in it, so less fuel needed. And 3 tiles against another district will grant another plus 20 heat as well. So districts massively boost each other when built right. Knowledge. With the first frost break started, we set up a second one south to get the materials opened up for another extraction district. Materials are needed to create goods and run maintenance or buildings break. Up north we frost break the food areas, probably potatoes knowing my people. And finally we frost break west towards one of the 3 outposts so we can begin sending crews into the wasteland. Up top, the city building resources are heat stamps. Yes, people pay for heat now, and the pound has failed us. Prefabs are used for constructing buildings, and cores for advanced construction. To live, people need housing, food, and goods to be built. People get happy when they have chairs. To sit, to stare. I also stare at the Frostbreakers. Makes you wonder where these machines were during one. Were they salvaged or built? Could have been useful to me. Either way, we will push to the eastern cauldron and set up housing inside its warm embrace. People are freezing. Digging complete, the first extraction district is constructed over the coal, taking time to finish. With that underway, I push the rest of the coal east and finally head towards the cauldron. With that started, the first industrial district is being built next to the crater. 3 tiles within the warmth to activate the bonus, the rest outside so I can get a second one down. Industrial builds either prefabs or chairs for materials, so happiness or construction has to be prioritised. The second extraction district is being built south on the materials to help this decision. Honestly, it is probably going to be good for a while, so my people are less likely to shank each other in unhappiness. With 6 weeks passing, we still have nothing fully completed, but the cauldron is getting closer to having habitation. A closer look shows 7 tiles that we can use, which doesn't really help as each district needs 3 to activate. Ah well, the first housing district goes down, hopefully no one falls off the walls and causes a mess. I assume climbing is now mandatory at school. Also, honestly, I do love how districts build vertically. How roads connect the areas to the centre, all the little details are great, and make things look better than I can usually build. Back to the centre, we finally turn the generator on, watching power flow through the roads and pipes turning red in places. The more red, the angrier the people are at my rule. We may have to deal with that. Luckily though, part of that is a lack of housing, so a second housing district is placed in the cauldron. Each now gains plus 40 heat, 20 from the cauldron and 20 from their neighbour. The extra housing space bonus from the cauldron helps with early expansion resources too, which we are low on already. To help even more, I place a heating hub. It gives another plus 20 heat if you're 3 tiles in its radius. Massive bonuses for our limited coal. Due to the limited resource issue, I begin lightly begging / threatening money off of our local factions. The stalwarts and New Londoners agree, but their trust in me drops. Sods. With that money, I expand the housing districts. It's cheaper on manpower and heat to expand districts, and allows them to have powerful support buildings in them. Housing does research for some reason. Maybe they just don't like leaving their houses, like me. With that ongoing, more teams are sent to Frostbreak around the cauldron for yet more houses to be built. The heating hub is up, and we need to take advantage of it while we are in the early stages of cold. Barely minus 20. The industry is also officially swapped over to goods too. We need furniture for them houses when done. All of this has taken about half a year to get sorted, People have waited way too long just to have shelter and heat, and there is so much more to do, like food, which is dwindling. Just in case, I build the outpost with logistics, to scout the wasteland, and to escape the city in case of mild cannibalism due to a lack of potatoes. I don't expect cannibalism, but then again no one ever does. So hoping for the best, research goes down in the Cauldron, where all the future worries will be solved, including casually biting each other. This leaves us 3 housing districts sprawling on the Cauldron, with science in the centre. It looks glorious, covered in snow and coal soot, and research is ready. We head straight into getting up coal mines. We need the coal, or freezing is upon us. While researching coal is a temporary solution, scouts have said there is black gold out there somewhere. Oil. We need it bad, to keep people alive and expansion happening. And with logistics fully operational, the map unfurls in its mostly white glory. Scouts now need to be sent out into the wilderness to map the landscape and places of interest. People live nearby. No one will be left behind, but they will have to wait. Teams are sent to scout to the frozen bay first. With plans now set, people sent out and the city coming to life, the council vote on my job. If they hate me, they will boot me out into the snow. If they love me, I keep the job, and my vengeance for judgment will happen.
The votes are in. The measure passes.
And like that, this is my city now. And I will tell you, I have failed a couple of times on that. Or while I wait for the Frostland teams to get back, I deploy another extraction district to demolish old houses for prefabs. It's not much, but it helps. The prefabs are immediately thrown into the northern farmland I opened up. Frozen potatoes for nearly everyone. I will definitely need to expand later. But for now, we have researched coal mines, and once more the children of the British Empire will grab their pickaxes and work till night time. Worker shortages mean some are pulled from the surface mines to get it done. With that manpower shortage, I called the frozen refugees outside the city inside. They need to work, even if they strain our fragile economy heavily. Due to the Frostlanders loving the wastelands, I make them pay for the new people's housing. It was that or have them switch places. With that money, I go on a district expanding spree. Remember, more everything but no extra workers needed. Both non-coal extraction and the food district get the treatment. The houses will be next. With that ongoing, the scouts have found traces. A cavern filled with bodies covered in oil, but no oil wells. We may have found the beginning. We must head towards the desolate coast, because that sounds like a place I want to go. We also find a Frostlander fishing village. They are left for now while the scouts go south hunting oil. Finding that oil is suddenly more important as the temperature drops 10 degrees, straining coal supplies. Fearing the worst, I deploy a second mine in the coal district. All districts expanded can have 2 buildings max. Drop into the pit and mine, miners. In an attempt to distract their parents, I make the council vote on machine-produced chairs. More made for the same cost, and it passes well.
Hear ye, the eyes have it.
Though apparently the coal mines and the factories are causing diseases now, so I bring in mandatory checkups to keep the serfs healthy. We also stuff asbestos into the house walls to make them stay warm and healthy too. Asbestos hasn't harmed anyone before, right? With warm asbestosy houses needed, the Western crack is developed as well. 1 district now, but more planned. I hope they like my crack. Anyway, apparently street urchins are starting gangs again. Last city they caused so many deaths from the cliffs and muggings. So to get ahead of this madness, I bring in mandatory school to curb the gangs. They will learn, or the beatings will continue before the muggings get started. That passes easily, luckily.
The delegates have spoken.
With that potential problem solved, I deploy another industrial to crank out more chairs, and maybe even tables to eat off of. This will bring joy to the poor. Hearing about these tables, a new faction joins us, Pilgrims of the Wastelands, who despise technology. Great. 500 of them to start, and they hate me already. Wanting people who don't hate me, I grab the Frostlanders from their village, then immediately seize that village and deploy scout fishermen to get more food. I am of course a generous steward. With food temporarily in the gold positives, I frostbreak more land for material extraction. It is dangerously in the red and I don't want industry to break down. The extraction goes down and more frostbreaking happens. There is a deep forest nearby with 2,000 years worth of materials. I want it. That would cement my name in history for centuries. I just need deep drill research. Food immediately becomes a problem yet again, so a second food district goes down north. I also bring up citizens grow food, bribing the new Londoners to vote for it so food gets made. Though I now owe them a grant, they get the next vote. Do you think anyone who lives inside the city centre will even leave the city centre? If I'd spent decades living there in safety, I don't think I'd ever leave it. This would be my entire world. Luckily, those that have left the furthest have scouted out the coast where we find the old oil dreadnought. There are bodies in the oil, which we drag out. We care for the living, not the dead here, so they are discarded. Nearby, we grab cores and scout out an oil train, which we can't use yet. Back at base, I reinforce the walls of the farming zones to better manage the heat. With the cold increasing, this could keep the city alive. In a similar vein, the industrials get a heating hub. Literally every little helps. Which is why a second hub is put near the crack district, along with a second housing district. Which is good foresight as the cold drops, and I didn't even notice that it was an issue until it slapped me in the face. Out in the wild where it is colder, the scouts carry on exploring as we need more supplies to set up a road to the oil dreadnought, which we don't currently have. It's on the agenda. But being this far out, we can actually have a look at our glorious city. Roads and districts snaking from the proud centre. I honestly love being able to do this, but it gives an idea of current progress. Speaking of progress, our schools will teach survival skills. I'm not planning for the collapse of the city at all, just a bit of extra food. Nothing more, honest. Though honestly, more is needed. The prefab extraction is nearly out, heating is getting difficult, and we are getting super low on coal. Luckily, I am trying to offset a fair bit of this with research. This time it is making scouting less dangerous so they can find more resources out there. While they search, I push north to the 2 million tons of iron under the frost. Extracting this will massively help shore up our material expenditure and help not die. Another not dying thing we'll do is put badges on the infectious. No more will they cough anonymously on us. With that sorted, I am going to rely on my dwindling coal and not yet go for the oil. I want Skyway research to transfer resources and crews faster than roads can first. And that is the research we grab barely a couple of weeks later. Soon we shall have the oil bounty in our grasp. Another bounty happens at home. Thousands of children are born, massively straining our housing. Which means I desperately expand the districts with what resources we have left. Thanks, overly amorous peasants. We expand further north to get a second way station up and running, mostly to get more scouts active in the field and find outposts to run. Which we desperately need as coal starts running out. We opt to detonate the veins rather than send younger children in. For now, anyway. With hungry and ill masses everywhere, we get a hospital researching. It is going to be needed soon. Apparently immediately. The coal mine we detonated has started a fire. We opt to shut the shaft and leave the miners for dead to keep going. No one's left behind, but once you're here, we don't really follow the same rules. With all the new dead miners, we pass harvesting funerals. Their organs will live on, in more useful people who are still working for the cause. Outside the tragedy, the scouts have found a coal mine. We are desperately connecting it via skyways to boost the reserves. This gives us more room for danger. The hospital is set up in the Cauldron. With gangs and mine explosions, we need a way to reattach limbs and get workers active faster. To make sure that loss of miners is still worth it, a fuel storage is built near the second coal deposit for greater storage during the storms. Sadly, even more danger is active as my scout teams enter the mountains. The Scout HQ has dropped it from deadly to dangerous, so hopefully the hospital proves useful keeping them alive. Unfortunately, with everyone working together to survive, we are poor, so paid essentials goes into effect. Buildings and my pension coffer need funding. Some is immediately used to keep the frost breaking active, At no point has it ever stopped in the last few years. Feeling this constant expansion, another wave of babies are born, forcing even more expansion of housing. Another district in my crack is being built just to accommodate the extras. To support the expansion maintenance, yet more frost breaking to material deposits begins. The machines are heading towards every valuable deposit we have. 3 years we have done this so far, and we are still surviving on coal. We are getting ready for oil, but we can still just survive on the old ways. Even if coal is about to run out in 4 days, and prefabs ran out now. That's all our fuel and all our building supplies. I should have got the second coal district up faster. Quickly, I correct the mistake, but it does mean stored reserves have gone down. This is our last city supply of coal. We need to scout for more mines. The scouts are finding things, just not mines. The North team found a warehouse full of cores and an old military outpost that we can connect to. We establish Outpost 11 for more supplies to the crater. And then we connect all possible positions to the city, bringing it all back. Exploration speed and stock sizes are now up, but our scouts are now all working outposts. We need to get more logistics up and running, or support buildings to increase sizes. To help with that and keep the people happy, every law I can do has been put in place. Many are still greyed out, but what I can do I have done. No prisons yet though. Back at the Flesh Cauldron, yet more housing is made. This is a kind of horrifying prison, I guess. I wouldn't ever live there. 4 full housing districts now call it home. With this many people relying on me, I finally connect the oil dreadnought to the city via Skyrail. While waiting, more advanced factories are being researched, specialised for prefab construction, but until then many salvage factories are deployed. So much more resources being retrieved through them. With such a need of engineers, we sign a law to let people use their own tools without supervision. What could possibly go wrong with that? That's a future me problem. With coal having barely half a year left, the colonists are finally dispatched to the dreadnought, making their slow way through the snow via ski lift. 3,000 souls to support the city. Further south below the dreadnought we found an old whale harvesting operation. It is immediately connected as we need that food so much. With food secure, housing everywhere, and shares being built by the hundreds, all supplies look good. Apart from materials, we have yet to find a good deposit in the wastelands, but at least we are now prepared for oil. Let's begin the town. Frost breaking the new zone is immediately started upon. We need all the areas opened up. We need more prefabs from abandoned huts. We need to get the oil up and running. We need a place for my people to sleep. With that being sorted, we can start doing great and glorious things. And just like that, the very first oil extraction district is being set up. Housing 2 is being temporarily put down just here until we can move it down into the pit. The generator growls to life on oil poured from the depths. As soon as we get enough, it will begin transferring to the mother city. But for now, it begins. The next stage is research for pump jacks. Let's pull even more life-giving crude from below. And not a moment too soon. The mother city's last coal has gone dry. The external mines still work for now, but the original piles are gone. The third logistics in the east is frostbroken at last. With the city dependent on outposts, this is sorely needed. Yet despite this, all resources in New London are finally golden positive, allowing us to supply surplus to the oil town, letting both run efficiently. In the short term anyway, oil in one supply says 11,000 weeks without extra pumps. That's about 200 years of oil, and there are 3 of these deposits. So to fully draw from it, the first pump jack goes down. Going from 6 to 94 barrels and barely 100 years supply, this is a massive jump. Easily able to run itself and hit the bare minimum to fuel New London. So we do. I transfer the oil over and hit phase 2. Long after I should have. With choices given, I decide to embrace the frost. Defeating the frost might bring a second ice age quickly after this one. We don't want that. First stage of embracing is making all outposts cheaper. We must scour the wastelands as we gave up the deep drills for the New London supplies. It is a shame, but no crying over spilt drills. To compensate, we deploy the adaptive pumps so the generator can use both coal and oil, though oil is more efficient. With embracing the plan, we can now turn scout outposts, or scout posts, into an actual settlement. We just need research and some resources to make them satellite villages, to permanently supply London. I will call this Operation Scotland. Why are my pilgrims actively showing off greenery? I don't know. Either way, get exploration time and decrease it. We're going to keep exploring while they're doing weird things. With that weird display, settlement heating appears and is selected for research. Maybe the pilgrims should be sent out first. Then again, the stalwarts are a bit weird too in their devotion. Just found a ritual ending in a scout post. No survivors. Not that far away from an old plague storage building. I may have figured what drove them insane. Who lives near that? Deciding to ignore that question, I look at my scout posts. It's time to connect as many as possible to London to begin the settlement project and supply the Empire's needs. The first one is the whale harvesting near the Dreadnought, which becomes Jonah's Whale Town, and it can be upgraded, which I immediately order. Sadly, scout teams are still needed to run logistics, but still. And we have gone to the next tier. Perfect. Survived incoming whiteout. What whiteout? Uh-oh. Preparing for the worst, the nearby coal mine becomes a settlement too, which can resist whiteouts, allowing greater survival prospects. For us, not them. Sadly, we still need all the other resources. The Empire grows once more. Especially so as I save a few more cold stragglers from the wasteland. However, I save, not trust. It is time to get enforcers loyal to me on the field. I put it to the council why they trust me, and their downfall begins. My rise is secure. With little fanfare and new, more ironclad management, I expand the housing in the Empire's heart in the northern crevice, allowing more heat and stability to the peasantry. A hub is added too, as the first whiteout is noticed on the horizon. Outside, the scouts are sent to two valleys to carry on looking for more resources we can exploit to survive. Any outpost with resources will become a settlement. The scouts also find real history. Find the Winterhome Bridge. I was there when it fell. Cool. Outside of the bridge, we need to start fully developing Oil Town. I prep a second oil extraction, expand the first, and begin looking at expanding the housing in the gully. This town must never stop working, so thousands more are sent to power the pumps of the Empire's new beating heart. Out on the frontier, scouts have found cores in a smelter, which we ransack to upgrade London's generator. This will upgrade its heat output, and no longer will children be thrown in to power it. Now we can actually use science. Our glorious power knows no bounds. To get cheaper bases, Frontier Outpost is voted in. The stalwarts hate the idea, but we beat them down. We can't just be a one-city empire. We must grow. To help growth, more pump jacks are installed in Oil Town. We are not a green empire. Nothing is green, so no one can complain. Oh. 200 people just died from accidents with tools. There are those future problems I talked about. Hopefully, none of them were important to the cause. I don't think too much on it, as extraction districts expand to cover losses. With that many accidents, however, and people plotting against the Empire, we go for watchtowers. Everyone will be watched. Shifty people will be beaten, and the child gangs will be broken. No one will go against me. To prove my power, the pump is now officially getting its upgrade. Everyone will feel literal warmth and energy radiating from my seat. They will know what I have done for them. And to make sure they know that, I vote in guided voting. People need to know how to vote the right way, and only I can truly know what they know is best.
The law takes effect.
I know what is right. The council listened, and so the peons that support them will too. My strength only grows by the week, and towers go down in the Cauldron and the other districts. Guards will be ever helpful. More coal is found in the wilderness. The remnants of Tesla City is found not long after that. Scouts are sent to take a look for survivors, and not at all for technology to steal. Some tech to borrow is found, but not from Tesla. A coal to oil converter is found and will be installed on the generators for greater input. Sadly, Tesla itself is destroyed, so we salvage the land rather than rebuild it. In honour of that great city, we start research on air hubs. What is left from them will be remembered in us. Back at Oil Town, the cold increased and the former inhabitants were upset we moved the corpses from the oil. They demand compensation, so I send out the guards. No one takes what is mine. With such difficult outsiders, the productive outsider law is brought in. So what if family groups are destroyed? So what if people are left to freeze? They chose this path of non-productiveness, not me.
The law takes effect.
Steward.
To show them what that means, a coal to oil is installed in my industrial. 100 coal to 80 oil. It's extremely efficient. Air hubs start being installed in important areas. This lowers the worker amount and looks kinda cool. Also, being British, we research alcohol. What's the point without a pub? Back at Oil Town, the outsiders were defeated. Some surrendered, some just ceased breathing, and most ran away into the snowy wastes. I don't think they'll survive the storm to come back. Look at that on the map. You can see the slow, frosty storm coming in. Eventually everything will be covered in just a couple of weeks, but for now, we get to watch the world disappear. That storm is getting closer to hit. The last white that hit this city was decades ago. This could truly hurt, but I believe in the city. To prove that point, a conservative treatment plan is put into effect to help those that might get frostbite. This should save lives.
The proposed law has been approved.
Weirdly, the pilgrims are either abandoning it and asking us for 10,000 food, or they're actually going to find something. This is either a nomad plan as vengeance for Oil Town, or they are willing to help so many people. They are the most suited to the frost, so hopefully good things happened and I am not scammed. And with it being currently minus 60, the storm strikes, dropping us below 110, which is enough to immediately kill people. Our coal is going down, but we should have enough coal to last until it gets warmer in 30 weeks, give or take. With the blanket of darkness, we have enough supplies to survive till the warmth comes back months later. Even Oil Town will survive this with help from London. Despite the storm, frostbreakers are sent out and housing is expanded in minus 110 degrees real temperature. True heroes, the builders of the Empire are. Without them, we would be ruined. With nothing else to do, I watch the glowing lines of energy in the darkness. No red to be seen. However, with potential housing issues in future storms, I grabbed the housing block for my people. With the outside cut off, I vote for the Bureau of Propaganda. People need to only believe my words.
The votes are in. The measure failed.
And some sod voted against it. They will be found and put outside. And I also guessed the outside wasn't cut off enough. The pilgrims returned. They came back with even more food and people. Well done. I am very surprised you came back and with friends. And just like that, as quickly as it arrived, the storm just blows over. We have survived, but the world is harsh once more. With the bridge to Winterhome found, it is time to find the rest of it and rebuild what I blew up in a previous lifetime. The storm is still raging north, so our scouts go south to places called the Graveyard, because that sounds like where people should be. The storm still raging, the north is still blocked, so all we can do is wait and watch. With it hanging there, I grab logistic bays so that more Frostland scouts can be sent further afield to find outposts and people. While waiting for scouting to finish, we have 2 Vanguard logistic bays added, another hospital, subsidised housing in the Cauldron, and salvage factories in the industrial zone. This should solve crime, disease, housing and heat. It should be a place where people want to live. Oh, look at that. There's even little flying ships going in the air now. Look at that. See, the city is becoming livable and cool. Sadly, this is where my voice starts failing. I have been ill, so the script must fall. From this point onwards, you get the chat I have during game. It is a similar style, but obviously more distracted and less focused. Enjoy, and tell me which style you like best. I'm getting a drink. Apparently stalwarts are protesting. We're going to convince them to stop by doing something I always should do. We're going to send in the guards. No one gets to protest here. I am what you want. You do not want to protest against me. A few people are injured, but I am happy. Out in the wilderness, we're going to repair a pair of automatons. They're going to be brought back and you. So the automatons are being brought to us. Anywhere we can build something, we will now be building something. Keep growing and expanding for us, my empire. And it really is an empire now. I can't actually zoom out. New London is all the way over there on the map. See, we have settlements all over the place. If I can make it a settlement, I will be making it a settlement. We need more coal, we need more food, we need more supplies, and more lines slowly connect to our city. More and more routes, with resources pouring in. Now, sometimes it's just basic resources, sometimes it's food, sometimes entire small towns and villages start to exist. We're now nearly 9 years in. The storm is still raging up north, so we're still just waiting for it to bugger off. Bribed a lot of people to make sure there's a bureau of propaganda. Some people are against it, but what we need is 51 people on my side. I have 77 people on my side. The bureau will tell them what they need to know. I will be honest, we brought back 2 automatons, it told me I did. I don't quite see them anywhere. Maybe it's that guy there. Oh, he faded. He saw me looking at him and he got shy and left. Maybe they could be anywhere. Anyway, we have more people living here now. Finally, we can send teams to the Cursed Valley. It sounds great. It sounds a place I'd love to have a winter home. But teams are finally being sent in there. And more supplies are being brought in from other places. Oh, look at that. There's ever so slight glitch where one of my roads is trying to escape out of my city. You see that? Stop that road. As more and more of the world comes into view, we have discovered vast chunks of things. We found a bit more food, we found more supplies. We are getting everything. And soon Winterhome will be back in our view. We can upgrade our generator a 3rd time, but we need 40 cores. I think it would require us to completely sweep the entire wasteland dry. We have never seen that many cores. Oh, we've officially found the ruins of Winterhome. We could move on, but we should explore the site. Let's see what's left of this horrible place. Bring more people in, because we leave no one behind. But what is left of Winterhome? Are you a good place? Or are you a hellhole we should never return to? Yes, we are ready to look at Winterhome. We're sending in the colonists. With the city still being prepared for settlers, we carry on exploring all of the wilderness. Scout teams are being sent to every location we can spot from our area. And just like that, the heat demand has increased. It has gotten colder and colder. Either way, despite the cold, we colonise Winterhome. The choice to salvage has never been in our mind. Well, here we are. A horrible hellhole filled with a minor warning sign from New London. Thanks, New London, you get everywhere. Oh! This looks great. Now we're here, we get to see the new problems. We either rapidly frostbreak the area and have toxic gases which kill people, or we safely frostbreak, which takes longer, requires significantly more resources, but is safer. So we are going to rapidly frostbreak for a bit and hope we don't die. So with that, we're frostbreaking the ground, as you can see, quite literally in this case, because chunks are disappearing from my view, and slowly but surely open up the poison gas vents, which we will seal, allowing us to live here. Food is being sent over, along with goods. The people will have a little bit of supply before they start running out. Because it will take time for progress. Most of our people appear to be living in a crack in the ground with lots and lots of gas pouring on them. Lovely place, lovely place. To distract our people from the potential that their friends are now dying in the gas ruins, we've decided to have city-run alcohol shops. It seems only logical to me, as, you know, New London. The first frostbreak has happened, and 287 people are now ill. But it allows the first of fuel filtration systems to be put down. This should hopefully solve a few of our quite serious problems. We need this fuel to be filtered so it stops poisoning the ground. To alleviate some of my people's fears, we are going to start frostbreaking safely as well. We need a bit of land for my people to live on, and for the ground to stop destroying itself. While supplies are being sent to Winterhome ruins, the great city of New London is being looked after. Things are just ticking over for now. Apparently there are tensions rising and fistfights happening inside the ruins. We just need people to survive a little bit longer. With tensions rising, it's time to send heat to the generator. We need supplies, and we need these people to live long enough to get things back. And just like that, the generator is gone up. The population has increased. They will all be sent to here. Frost breaking continues apace. Over here's a geothermal spring. We need that active so this place can run on its own heat. Apparently people are sabotaging each other in Winterhome. We're going to enact public executions. Another geothermal spring is uncovered, and we push our way towards the final 2 vents. Once the vents are clear, we will be safe. And one of my greatest goals ever, we finally gain the ability to have prisons. The first extraction district for steam goes down gloriously. With illness and death still being a major issue, we keep pushing north. The third and final toxic gas geyser is nearly within our reach. One thing I will say in this hellhole is I don't see a way to turn the steam into usage. My main generator has the ability to use everything. This generator does not, and there appears to be no way to upgrade it unless I'm blind. And just like that, all 3 fume plants are put down, and the gases from Winterhome have been cleansed. This is good, but now I need to rebuild the population and keep cold, hunger and disease absent. I don't know if I care enough to do that. Seriously, when I turn it off I can see all 3 fuel mixes. When I turn it on, I get just coal and oil. Where is my steam? New London has too many people not doing anything, so vast chunks are being sent to Winterhaven. If we can get it to run, we'll get it to thrive. But for now, every able worker who isn't doing a damn thing is being sent to help. Apparently, due to all the dead people inside Winterhome, a lot of people have stopped trusting me. Luckily, I can just straight up threaten them. Despite quite literally trying to bring an entire city alive, people are voting against me in New London? How dare they? I will pour money and supplies into making them like me, although quite honestly, I'd rather wipe them out. There is a vote afoot. Cool. We're going to make people vote for me though. It's still going to be close. Apparently, getting Winterhome up and running is a problem. But we've held once more. Apparently, a future is just within reach. We have made the city of Winterhome survive. They're a little bit upset, and some of our buildings have exploded. Mostly all of the pumps, but they have sealed it off. We have lots of housing within the pit. We have food. We have extraction, we have coal. It's not the most coal, but the city has survived and begun rebuilding. Oh! What are you doing, sir? You have paper. Is that... Are those the amendments? Oh! Oh! Oh, no, that's not good. No, we need... What the... No! Well, we've hit a dream of utopia with a murder. That's a good sign. And was it me? Did I get murdered? A quick look at everything says enforcing order means very few people trust me, so I can't do a binding order of power as the new captain. So go to banish the stalwarts. I would like to use an iron fist, but apparently people just don't trust me right now. So we are going to have to deal with them. With that being said, guard squads await orders. There's a civil war. We do not want them dealing with things. The squads are being sent in. They will not wipe out my new and growing empire. The first of the guard squads has gone in, and 1 of 3 areas has been salvaged and repaired. The next one is being sent in as well. We need more squads. More guard towers are being built. More teams are being sent to the front. Every single squad which deals with the enemy will be getting overtime, will be getting leave, and they'll be getting a nice warm holiday somewhere. It's amazing how easy it is to wipe them out. I've been going full on force, and the enemy has been completely wiped. The enemy is gone. We'll find a permanent solution to this civil war. I don't really want to. What I'd like to do is completely destroy them. And I'm going to. 5,000 of these people remain. It says find a new home or round up stalwarts. I'd like to round up all stalwarts. How do I do that? Apparently, because we have prisons, it's time for the path of banishment. I'm going to start encouraging people to head back outside. It says here we can send the stalwarts to the Windward Moor. I'm going to send them to the Windward Moor. If they really want to have their own land, they can. Out in the open, out where they'll die. Maybe they'll be nicer to us. Now, I'm not hoping for it. I'm not hoping for it at all, because we just wiped out loads of people to save some pilgrims. But there's only a few left. And Windward Moor is live. With a brand new city, I'm going to at least vaguely set it up. We may need the supplies to support the Empire. So if I can, I will. This area is going to get as much as it can before I start deporting the remains of the people who haven't been beaten to death. Sadly, because I'm tired of the stalwarts, we're going to round them up. It has begun. All stalwarts are being detained. The less of them there are, the better. They have housing, they're annoyed, who cares? They will have food, they will have supplies, they will actually have as much resources as they need. The only problem being, the area is a horrible windswept wasteland of death. If they try to come back, they will not survive. I have lost patience with them. The rounding up is taking place, and a new home is still holding. Honestly, I'd like to transfer it over, but I want to at least make it look like I care. Because otherwise, other people might have problems. Although I am super curious to see what happens when the roundup finishes. Windward Moor is asking for coal? That is unacceptable. Okay, you are going to have it. This is now yours. For those that went against me, there can be only one true law. Only one way it actually goes. Public executions are now officially brought back. The stalwarts tried to tip my hand, so we will tip their heads off their shoulders instead. The remaining stalwarts are still going against me. I have ordered another roundup, and we're going to decide what the detainees will do once that is decided. None of these people must be allowed to interfere. However, they're damaging a lot of my stuff, and I'm getting annoyed by that. The city is held, the people are being checked, and the stalwarts have failed. Go back to your hidey holes, go back to your hell holes, no one wants you here. With that stated, the latest roundup is complete. There's still a few more left, but for those we have decided to depart them to Windward Moor. Despite their city being shoddy, their people being rounded up, and lots of their people taken to prison, they are still causing me issues. What on earth are they going to do? There's 100 of them left. Hundreds have been killed. The remaining ones are being detained. Just go away. Hopefully with the prisons ready, the last ones will be rounded up. Because after this, I am done with anyone. There is no mercy, no rehabilitation, and the stalwarts menace is over. Good. The last 260 will be executed. They need to be taught that unity is achieved one way or another. Peace or an axe. The city stands. No one goes against me and lives. Except for those we sent to the icy wasteland, but they will freeze. I have been the fallen shogun. This has been a full playthrough of Frostpunk 2. Most of it's hopefully edited. I did start losing my voice and steam partway through, so the ending of it will be me mostly talking, I imagine. How I do these things as I talk over them, and then I script afterwards. But time has not been on my side, my voice has not been on my side, and the steam has not been on my side as you saw, and it just refused to work at Winterhome. I have been the Fallen Shogun. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being awesome. Take care, be awesome, be epic. There will be more Frostpunk 2 videos.